In the United Kingdom, we have potentially a tightening labour market because politically there is a desire to reduce migration. In Gibraltar, you have a tight labour market because it's difficult to attract people to come and work across the border, particularly when the currency is moving the way it is. So the same issues are facing businesses, but for different reasons.
Okay, so you're talking about issues which are already beginning to bite due to the Brexit uncertainty, and one assumes that that'll become even more pronounced as we approach the end of March. Give us a flavour of some of the other issues which are already coming to the fore.
Well, you've got businesses who really need to think about some practicalities. Will they be able to still be insured when they cross the border in the event of a no deal? And that means potentially having to rearrange their contracts to clarify that. People talk to me about the green card, which isn't something we have in the UK, but there are some concerns around that. The equivalent in the UK, people are worried about, will their driving licences work in France on the 30th of March? Now, that affects people hiring cars on holiday. That might not seem terribly important, but it's quite important for lorry drivers who need to cross that border both ways. So it's some of these technical wrinkles, which don't seem like big things in themselves, can start to back up those supply chains when you think about the things they're bringing in on the back of their lorries.
Food, medicine.
Well, exactly. Those are the priorities for the UK government. And, I'd like to think that there are some robust contingency plans in there. But it's other things, take food, for example. A supermarket will worry about whether it has food on its shelves. They may not have thought about where the spare parts come from for the fridges. And if they're shipped in from Europe, a shop will close just as surely because the fridge breaks.
And in that scenario, would you expect to see a sort of a split between the government covering plugging some of those gaps and businesses seeing opportunities and taking them?
Yeah, I think government's got real priorities. It needs to worry about food and medicines and utilities. It's probably less worried about raw materials for a construction project. If your houses get built a few months late, that isn't as serious. So depending on whether your sector is something that aligns with national priorities, determines how much you're going to have to do for yourself and how much government's going to have to help you. But clearly, when you think about industries that are relevant to Gibraltar, the payroll systems, banking systems, insurance, these are vital things for business to continue to operate. And so you would like to think that they will be priorities for the government.
And finally, Mark, do you get the sense that Gibraltar companies, the ones that you spoke to today, are doing that?
Yes, I did, actually. I did feel there was one person on our panel who said they were actually almost ambivalent. They were operationally ambivalent to any Brexit scenario because they had a plan to continue to operate under any circumstances. To be honest, I wish British companies in the main were as prepared. I find from my clients there's a real mixture. And I think Britain would envy the level of preparation that people on the panel were talking about.